The joys of home ownership. You know, I bet a lot of you have used that phrase before as well, and probably tongue-in-cheek, like I do, because even though it's a first world problem, you know, home ownership is not without its challenges. There's always something new to add, something to fix, something that's broken, some remodeling to be done that's going to take time, energy, and more importantly, money to do. And I'm curious if this sounds familiar to you, right? So spring is here, the weather's getting warmer, and I've started to make a list of all the crap that is either wrong with the house, things that have been broken for years but we've gotten by just fine, or other improvements that I'd like to do. And I went to go start with the very first task because I figured it's something I can knock out pretty quickly, and true to form, nothing is ever easy. If you own an older home or are plagued with the DIY results of someone who tried to do something before you, you know what I'm talking about. And you may also know that when you make a list like this, you're probably being ambitious because nothing's going to go to plan. Let me show you what I mean. Now, I don't know if I just drew a short straw and ended up with a crappy house or one with a lot of problems, and I will have to admit that some of these problems are probably self-inflicted over the years. I'm just curious how many of you can relate to situations like this one here. Back when we did our kitchen remodel, this shitty little mudroom of ours wasn't really in scope, and so we didn't touch it. But we did end up with some pretty janky wiring. As you can see, we used to have a light switch here that would control the fixture inside the mudroom to give some light, and it also provided power through some goofy bent conduit to an outside fixture. Now the reason these wires are hanging like this is because apparently this neutral here is shared with our kitchen lights, and so I couldn't simply disconnect this. And I haven't bothered reconnecting this exterior light, one, because I didn't want an ugly piece of conduit strapped across the wall here, and two, this light was just extremely poorly placed. Anyway, what I wanted to do, what's on my list, is to basically clean this crap up. Install a new switch, clean up the wiring, put in a new fixture, and call it a day. But true to form, as I start to review what I'm actually getting into, I start running into other issues that are just adding onto my list. One of the few things I did contract out when we did our kitchen was some of the carpentry work. And this cutout here for this electrical box is not going to be big enough. So I'm going to have to notch this out even further in order to fit a standard size receptacle. Addendum 1. Next, this little mudroom doesn't look that bad. I did the walls not too long ago, fresh coat of paint, yada yada yada, and I can see the part where I want to install the light fixture looks like hell. So I'm going to want to clean that up, maybe frame out a little soffit or something, make it a little bit more presentable. Addendum 2. And I've accepted the fact that I'm just going to need to reuse this neutral wire, but when I go up to the junction box to see how it's tied into the ceiling lights, wouldn't you know it, old cloth wiring. I don't really know how deep this goes or how hard it's going to be to fish in some new wiring, but if I'm going to be doing this, I might as well run some fresh wire here, because I hate old cloth wiring. Addendum 3. So, one of the reasons I haven't posted in a while is because I've been running a little short on ideas for content. I take that back. If I'm being completely honest with myself and you, I've been running short of some motivation to film the projects that I know I have to do that are like this and are going to take more time than I already planned for. And of course, these little stinkers demand my attention every time I'm trying to do something. So I'm going to attempt to kill two birds with one stone. I'm going to try to tackle my projects this year and make some content. So even though that wiring project is the first one I'm going to tackle, let me share with you other things on my list, and I'm going to put them together maybe in a poll style for you to chime in and let me know which one I should try next. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. Some of these things I know how to do, I just haven't gotten to it yet. Others I think I know how to do, and it'll be an interesting learning experience to try. And even others I have no idea how to do, but I want to do them anyway. So it should be interesting. Let's take a look at some of the other things I got to get to. My bathroom faucet's diverter is kind of stuck. It's really hard to manipulate, and when it does go from tub to shower, it kind of leaks, and so I got to take care of that. Still in the bathroom, this cheap vanity that we got. Oh, hello, puppy. Still in the bathroom, our inexpensive little vanity here. Basically just some cheap surface laminate over some MDF is what it looks like, and it's starting to peel because of its age and moisture. At first I was just planning to redo these doors and drawer face, but then the wife asked me if I can transform this storage area into a drawer-based system, so gonna have to plan for that. Oh yeah, and the paint on this mirror is wearing off. Guess I better add that to my list. Quite a while ago, I had to punch a hole in the wall of this little linen closet here to get to the back of the toilet, so it obviously needs patching. But, you know, out of sight, out of mind, so this thing's way overdue. Reason I need to definitely get to it, though, is because this wall has access to the crawl space, and my HVAC vent is directly overhead, and so when that thing kicks on, it creates negative pressure and draws in the cold air from the crawl space, and so during the winter, this area obviously gets pretty cold. So I'd like to fix that this year. Speaking of HVAC systems, that one we've got is relatively new. This house used to be heated by radiant heat, or boiler heat. So I've got some old radiators that need to go. This one here in the living room blocks us from putting the couch up against the windows, but it also serves as a great place for the cats and dogs to chill out by the window. So I got to get this thing out, which is going to require going into our dirt crawl space, low crawling to the other end of the house with a sawzall, chopping up some old galvanized pipe, probably removing about 100 feet of that stuff, and then pulling it out here and patching what's left. Once it's out though, my wife had this idea of building a little storage area behind the couch with some outlets and whatnot, which I think is pretty good, but it'll be another project. And the dogs and cats will be happy because it'll still give them a place to chill out next to the window. But while they're at the window, they like to destroy the blinds. So these effed up blinds are another thing that need to be replaced this year. Time to finally take care of this rotted out garage framing. Repaint the windowsills around the garage. Fix the burst water line that feeds this spigot. Replace this busted ass storm door. Clean out or rebuild my snowblower carbs. Good thing it didn't snow that much this winter. I was able to do it all by hand. Maybe try repainting this power line post on the outside of the house without frying myself. Try to refurbish this pressure washer that I haven't used in years. Now that I'm in here, I think I let the gas sit in this generator for far too long, so it's probably varnished by now. So let's add another carb rebuild to the list. Been meaning to install a security camera and a motion floodlight to the back of the garage here. The rain last fall and over the winter left all sorts of crap all over my vinyl siding, so that needs to be pressure washed. Now that I'm out here, I should probably change out this front stoop light. This old ugly ass thing has been with us ever since we bought the house. I'd like to officially put some kind of storage unit here instead of my stand and a leftover piece of granite slab. Gonna have to fill in some cracks and reseal our asphalt driveway. And sometime before next winter, but not during the hot ass summer, I want to re-insulate the attic. All this on top of doing regular maintenance to things like the Subaru, like the brake job, parts for which I have here, the motorcycle's 6,000 mile service interval, and other things. So yeah, those are just some of the projects that I've got on my list this year that I need to get done, or I want to get done. And I wanted to share them with you in the hopes that it'll give me some added accountability. Throughout the year, I'll drop in the community section of YouTube some polls. You all can vote on which ones you'd like to see some content on, and I'll use that as a means to prioritize what projects to do. What's on your list? I'd love to hear about them in the comments below. If anything, it might help me realize that, hey, I'm actually not alone with all this bullshit kind of work to face. We all would probably like to get to some of the bigger, more grand home improvement tasks, but I suspect that all of us are plagued with needing to do a lot of the maintenance tasks like what I just outlined. So unless the electrics in that mudroom give me all sorts of hell, you should expect to see a video on that one soon. If you got any tips, tricks, or advice before I get started, do please let me know. Otherwise, I wish you all the very best of luck in your endeavors as the weather heats up and your projects kick off. Till the next time, this is Tom the Dilettante saying thank you for watching, keep on tinkering, keep on learning, be excellent to one another, and I will catch you later. Take care.